Hey, Daniel Betancourt, how's it going? Welcome to Easy to Win, coaching with Daniel and Todd. Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. How are you? How's the weekend?
It was great. Kids' birthdays, and sold a couple listings. Had a agent who I wanted to punch through the phone because she wanted to call 24/7. Did you get my offer? When did we sign? Blah 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 blah. It's like, I know you only have one deal you're working on, but it's a little bit
anxiety. Yeah, I listened to something on Saturday. Got a full price offer yesterday, so we're kind of in one of those markets where sellers have to think if they want to accept the full price offer or not.
Well, and I got 5 now offers on my Pembroke listing, 2 more coming in, and the one agent says, I'm buying this, I'm helping my daughter buy this, and I look at it, we're asking $315. We got 2 offers, $315, no, 2 at $330, and this one just came in at $300 with an appraisal contingency. I'm like, well, that's great. I appreciate your one that's 10% lower,
right?
But
yeah, well, that's a good segue into what we're talking about today.
Yeah. And I want to point this out, the buyer letters. What are your thoughts on those? Do you present them? Do you not present them?
To my sellers? Do I present them to my sellers? I share them with my sellers. I mean, I don't put a lot of emphasis on them.
Right.
I send all the offers with letters to my sellers, and then if it's a multiple offer situation, I have a spreadsheet and I send that to my sellers, and I say, here's the 10 offers. Here's what they're offering, contingency, expiration date, inspection date, all that, and what your net proceeds are going to be. And I might sometimes have a column there, like included a letter or not, and then let the sellers, but I don't,
So we got one, and this is why I don't like them, because it makes you it's a disabled vet trying to buy the house, and talks about how he got injured at war and all this stuff. And I mean, you felt it was so hard feeling that I wanted to accept his offer. But I'm like, unfortunately, I know this guy has no cash, and the house needs a lot of work, and they're going to come back with the roof, with the AC and other things. And it's like, man, if I could just sign his offer and help him out and go through that. But I don't want to know their stories. I just want to look at the numbers. And I mean, we share the Dropbox link with our sellers. Here's the 12 offers like you guys do, and take a look at them. So everything's in there. But it's
one of the hardest things about our job is saying no to all the buyers and agents that don't get the offer. Like that part really sucks, to be honest.
Yeah.
You build relationships. All the realtors are calling you and being buddy and friends, and you become best friends with 2 or 3 of them. But unfortunately, their buyer didn't put forward the best terms. So
yeah, and you can only do so much emphasis because, hey, I know, Daniel, I'm going to present your offer the best I can, but $10,000, man, it's $10,000.
Yeah, exactly. But on that note, I know that there are some realtor associations around the country, maybe smaller boards. I don't think it's a national thing yet, that are prohibiting these letters because of what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Like if it talks about any kind of familial issue, family issues, race issues, anything like that, to make it non-discriminatory, they've just decided that the letters are prohibited. Now, we've been coached on, in those scenarios, the letters, as agents, we can't provide those letters to the listing agent or the sellers on those transactions, but we can't stop a buyer from forwarding those letters. But besides that, if you keep it all about the house and not about the family and about those kinds of things, that will help the letter be more compliant. So.
Well, that's why you talk about why you love it and not about your whole story. So.
Right. Yeah. I've had some, I've had videos from buyers, agents, and buyers come across. So yeah, it's desperate times sometimes call for desperate measures. Like you have that agent calling you nonstop. So the whole point of today's discussion is to be on the opposite side of all of that anxiety, and where you're the one representing the seller, and you're the one who has lots of offers to go through with your sellers, and your seller customers are going to be happy with you because you've done a great job. So that's a huge part of just staying in business, paying the bills right now, is to do everything you can to work with more sellers right now. Obviously, you want to continue helping buyers, but definitely, a lot of agents just gravitate towards buyers because they're less familiar with sellers, but listings to last, right?
Well, that's the point of today's thing is top 10 ways to get more listings, or top ways to get more listings. And that was what I was told. Buyers are liars and listers last. And unfortunately, it's like you got to get your listings, and it's getting them to start. Buyers are your quickest way to, buyers were your quickest way to a closing back when we started. But now it's like you got to get the listings, I think, to kind of sustain.
Right. So we've got a list here. They're in random order, not in order of importance or success rate. And not all of them are going to be right for everybody's personality mix, but I would encourage everybody to get out of their comfort zone a little bit if some of these things are outside of your comfort zone, because you have, like you said, desperate times call for desperate measures. So you gotta shake it up a little bit and go outside of your comfort zone and outside of the box. So number one, this one's been true for many years and generations, and since the beginning of real estate coaching, cold calling, for sale by owner expireds, and circle prospecting, which is a little bit newer than for sale by owner and expired, but cold call those people. Right now, for sale by owners are having a little better luck selling on their own, so there's fewer of them to call, but the ones that are out there, there's some good opportunities. I just met with one on Friday. Expired, same thing. If they expired in this market, you should be able to pinpoint very easily what could be done better and help the seller fix that issue. And circle prospecting, I think, is a great, so this is 3-in-1 right now. Circle prospecting, letting the neighborhood know of the high sales that are happening in their neighborhood. You're bringing good news. So I highly recommend those.
Two things on those. For the expired, FSBOs are winning right now based on the market. Majority of them are. We're still listing FSBOs, but the expireds, we're going back on a 3 to 12 month. The expireds in the last 3 to 12 months on a massive 9 to 12 week postcard campaign to get in front of them, plus retargeting all of them as well on Facebook and stuff with the same ad, so they keep seeing us. Right. And then the circle prospecting, we just hired an ISA to basically call the 5-county region that we're in for hitting certain demographics, of equity and time and ownership and other stuff. To try and go after that route as well. And it can be done if, you can get numbers from Cole Realty resources, through reminding ugemails. There's a lot of different ways to go after, whether it's on the phone and or digitally.
Home Snap, Espresso Agent. There are lots.
You can get their name, number, and email. And if you want to drop them in on a Facebook targeting campaign or something, if you don't want to call them, obviously the idea is to pick up the phone, because that's the fastest way to get somebody. Right.
Number 2 on the list is open house. And, if you want to add door knocking to that open house invite, you've done lots of open houses over the years, as have I, and I've met sellers in those open houses. Sellers want to compare the house that's for sale to their house, and also get an idea of what their home can fetch on the market. And if you're professional about it and you're conducting a good open house, and you can build rapport with that person when they're visiting, that's a good prospect for a seller.
And the door knocking side of the open houses, if you do what's called a 10-10-20, 10 on each side and 20 across, do like an invite to them, let them come preview the owner's house. That's a big one. I've done, when I was doing a lot of open houses, we would meet the sellers as well, because they're thinking about selling. I had a guy walk in, he goes, "Hey, I just wanted to see and meet you because I've seen you around the neighborhood, but we're interested in selling." And we actually had a buyer, and we sold him off market, so it was not even a competitive thing. And we've gotten multiple referrals from that gentleman.
Right. Number 3 on the list is getting the word out. Just listed, under contract, sold. So maybe you have 1 listing, 2 listings, but you want to have 10 listings. So share the message that you've had awesome success. Just listed, under contract, and sold postcards. You can do those mailers. Lots of vendors that help you with that, but also on social media. Just listed, under contract, and sold. It gives you 3 opportunities to touch your sphere, your Facebook friends, anyone following you on other social media platforms. But also, if you send out to the neighborhood, those are having a lot better luck than they have in the past, because a lot of sellers aren't aware of what home values are doing right now.
Yeah, we've done a lot of the just sold cards. We've actually got listings off of them, and people keep those if you're doing print, because 3 years later, I'm getting a call off of a card that was sent.
Right.
So it still lives and it lasts.
I've met 2 sellers in the last 2 weeks from just sold postcards, and being strategic about it. I think, you want to not just necessarily use the boilerplate language of the vendor's postcard. Change it up, add some other links, add some things that can generate leads from it, and give some statistics about the sales. Don't just do the bare minimum and hope for the best.
One way to be cost effective with it too is use what's called every door direct. So if you sold the house here, you're going to mail to between 600 and 800 houses around that property, and it's only 17 cents a card. So you're going to mail, probably half the cost of what you would if you're trying to throw just a generic mailing out there. And
all the vendors that sell postcards know about it. So there's certain rules and guidelines that you have to follow in terms of size. So if you're doing mailers, speak with the vendor, tell them you're interested in every door direct, and they will help walk you through that.
Get you the right size and everything else on it.
Yeah. So social media, sharing good news, success with sellers, seller testimonial videos. Again, just listed, just sold, under contract, sharing that message on social media. That's number 4. Kind of ties in with number 3, what we just went over. Number 5 is strategic messaging to your sphere. So newsletter, when a lot of realtor videos tend to be about homes that are for sale. Like, hey, I'm visiting this house. It looks beautiful. Hey, I'm visiting this neighborhood by so-and-so builder. They build awesome homes. So maybe that comes natural to you. If you're a realtor out there, by nature, it's easy for you to do videos where you're speaking to buyers. So you're going to have to switch that up, because maybe your videos are very effective at generating buyers. So obviously you have that creativity and what it takes to generate buyers, but switch the messaging around, because if the goal is to get listings, your communication should be directed to sellers. Tell them, inform them of what's going on in the market today, and let them know all the benefits of selling. Let them know that you'll provide them a free market analysis. And just think about what you're saying. So instead of just making a video and saying, I've got to make 1 video this week or 2 videos this week, and just automatically saying interest rates are low or whatever you do that normally would attract buyers, think about what you can say that will start a conversation with sellers.
A lot of our, not a lot, but a majority of, I would say, I'm using the word most, a good amount of our sellers that are coming in right now have a second place to go. So they're actually capitalizing on the market. So if you can find those people, maybe they're primaries but have secondary homes, beach condos, whatever, as they want to downsize, go after the equity guys. And if there's a way to put a message into like community groups or things along like that on Facebook, then that you'll be able to do some specific targeting that way.
Next one, number 6 on the list, is networking for referrals. So you want to expand your network of realtors outside of your local market. You want to network with realtors, whether it's through social media or through some other realtor events that happen. You want to get to, or coaching companies. A lot of coaching companies have these national events, both virtual and in person. There's other volunteer boards like the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. There are other boards that you get tied into real estate professionals from other areas. And if you can get tied in with real estate professionals from other areas, especially ones where Floridians tend to go and come from, you'll improve your chances of getting referrals from those agents that might have a seller or a buyer. I mean, we're in business to do both. The other thing is signing up for as many referral providers as possible. Lots of websites out there, lots of real estate brokerages out there that are, all they're doing is advertising and generating leads to send out to realtors on a referral basis. So you want to sign up for as many of those as possible. And some of them provide seller leads. One of the biggest one is homelight.com, for example.
If you do get signed up for those, make sure it is speed to lead. So everything's within the first 5 minutes. You've got OJO, OpCity, Fast Agent, Referral Exchange, Movoto. There's a ton of them out there, but it is speed to lead, and keep your profiles updated because they base everything on a score. And if you're not calling the people back, if you're taking longer, then it drops their algorithm of how they're going to send you stuff.
Yeah. So think about where are buyers coming and going from. Or sellers, if a couple of years ago, I saw a trend where a lot of Central Floridians seem to be going to Atlanta or to the, Georgia area. I had a lot of customers that just coincidentally were calling me and were moving to Georgia. New York has always been a big, heavy one where constant, traffic to and from New York. So, the Carolinas, they have what they call halfbacks, right? People that came down to Florida from the north, New York or New England, and then they go halfway back because it's too hot in Florida. So you want to network with those other agents from other states.
One of our clients that we just closed in January moved up to Georgia, rented a house. Luckily, they're only on a 7-month lease, and they're moving back. And they're like, man, I wish we didn't sell. And so now they're buying here. And the market is obviously a lot different than it was in January, and trying to get things accordingly.
Right. So, and not only other states, agents an hour away, 2 hours away, they often work with you on referrals. Tampa, to Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, all of those. So number 9 on the list is communicate with absentee owners. So call and have a mailing strategy for absentee owners.
And that you can pull the same stuff from like Whole Realty, which is basically call it targeted marketing via time on ownership and equity positions and things like that. You can pull it out where you don't have the corporate owned ones, which is going to be like the iBuyers who have bought stuff, the second homeowners, things like that. And those are, we've got another campaign we're getting ready to launch on that as well. So
yeah, absentee owners are people that own a home, but it's not their primary residence. So they live out of town and they're either renting that house out or it's a vacation home. So some of those people would like to cash in. People are selling and liquidating secondary homes on a regular basis, especially right now, home values are high.
If you can go after absentees, you've got a couple of opportunities that can happen there because 1, the tenant has to move, maybe sell them something. 2, they want to 1031 the money into something else. So you can create some other stuff that's going on there.
Yes. Another one that I have on here is community Facebook pages. So I think I said the wrong number a second ago. Now we're on number 8, community Facebook pages. Be involved in your community, create community Facebook pages where you're sharing news about the community and be the authority in that area for real estate and have a weekly state of the neighborhood video that you create talking about what all of the sales statistics and be the go-to person for that community. The Nextdoor app is one where you can join. You can also create Facebook pages and Facebook groups. Yeah, that's it. I've got a friend out in Lake Nona who's got one, and he's got about 13,000 members in there. And he started it. He was posting around 4 to 5 times a week, maybe about 10 times a week, he mentioned, and then it just got down to where it's only him doing it 4 to 5 times a week now, and more people are engaged. Obviously, it's now a lot more because it's 13,000 people over there. But it's definitely he does get business out of there. Yes, he doesn't market nor allow marketing in there, but they know him because they see his name all the time. Right. Number 9, stay in touch with your past buyers. And all the customers that you deal with, anyone that you have face-to-face communications with, anyone that you had a good phone call with on the phone, get all of their contact information, add them to your CRM, have a CRM and keep your CRM up and just communicate with those folks at minimum 5 times a year. But if you're doing the events like we've spoken about in the other calls, you have reasons to communicate with them, to invite them to events. You can add them to a newsletter and just make your follow-up calls with that's your sphere of influence. So especially past customers who already know, like, and trust you. Well, and if you can do a data scrape on Facebook, pull their birthdays out of there, that'll be obviously a number 1 touch. Just say happy birthday, or past customers, you got a client, call it home anniversary. We mail a special little plant to them every year. When it's their home anniversary, so they probably half the people come back and say, "Hey, thanks, it was really cute, really appreciate it," and it starts conversations again. Right. You just want to stay top of mind. Last on the list is be creative with the home value links. That we're offered tools, and you can subscribe to different tools that help sellers inquire what their home value is, and that'll generate some seller leads for you. And so here in our MLS in Central Florida, one of the services provided is Cloud CMA. They give you a link that you can use to generate seller business. HomeBot is another one. KV Core, the CRM, also has a home valuation link that you can use. A lot of brokerages offer something like that. So get creative with that. Don't just throw it out there and say, hey, you want to know your home value? Click here, because a lot of people are getting bombarded with that. But incorporate it into your mailers that you're sending out. Incorporate it into other messages that you're sending out. Make a clickable link that doesn't necessarily, where you're not necessarily promoting the website domain. Just incorporate it into a lot of different things, into your bio, if you have a link tree on Instagram. You want those kinds of lead capture tools going on everywhere.
That's the best thing, because it's if you can have it in all your signatures and stuff, that people will see it. You don't want to run Facebook ads and say, hey, find out your home value, because everyone wants to go to Zillow. But you want to find, if you're doing that, talk about what the market is, find out what the market is in your area, then change the wording on that direction. Yeah,
on that topic, as far as systems that help generate seller leads, listings to leads, is one. HomeBot is one. Street Text is one. So you can look into those if you're wanting to generate seller leads as well.
Yeah, listings to leads is great. And I did a show with Scott Pierce, the owner, probably about 2 months ago or a month ago, with a lot of content on that.
Awesome. So you want to do the bonus round?
Let's do it.
All right, bonus round. So I've reached out to some people, and some people have reached out to me with different questions. And so we want to address some of those realtor questions that we're getting for the show. This one, we have two we'll cover today. The first one is, I struggle with why a seller would hire an agent who does less production and their quality of work is unsatisfactory. So why would a seller hire an inferior agent than yourself?
Well, I think it comes down to the quote, good work is not cheap and cheap work is not good. And I had a builder give me a card a long time ago, which I wish I still had, because it kind of talked about something like that, but it was very creative the way he worded it. Mm-hmm. And it's just that they're all price conscious, and they don't care. They think it's as easy, put a sign in the yard. Just think about a FSBO. They're just, what's the bottom line for me? Not how can I make the process as smooth as possible and go from there.
A phrase that I've heard is price is only a problem in absence of value.
Yes.
So when I was asked this question, my first thought was it probably just came down to someone giving a lower commission, and the seller was more tunnel vision on commission and cared less about, the resume, the experience, and all that. So we have to show our value as realtors, show what differentiates us from our competitors. And every now and then, there could be a personality thing. There could be other little quirks that we don't know about. So there's not always like a blanket answer for that question. But I would say you just communicate your value and differentiate yourself from the crowd. And, price should be less of an issue when you do that. You got to show them the stats of how you can net them more money by charging them more. And that's, it's a knack to do that. But if you can do it, then you're going to be successful getting a higher commission. Right. The next question. So this one, how FHA offers can overcome conventional and cash offers in today's market. So how can we get an FHA offer to be chosen over a conventional or a cash offer in today's market? What do you think about that? So number one, it's price. I had one of our listings, we had 28 offers on, got a 240 offer, which was 25 grand higher than our asking price. They didn't show me that they just said, it'll appraise. Well, they didn't give me the comps that they would use to give to an appraiser to show. We ended up taking a conventional on that one, but you've got to have your lender calls show the strength. To talk about one, can we switch to conventional if it came down to it, and show what your cash is, and because I've got a couple FHA buyers myself right now that I'm like, how can we talk to them about conventional, but then maybe switch them back to FHA after we go under contract. And I'm kind of sidestepping your question, but I'm thinking about strategies as well. Right. VA is a tough one because it's no money on hand. And or they just don't want to put any money out, and it is appraisal driven and everything else. FHA, I think if I'm going to take an FHA versus a conventional, I'd almost want to know that they would have the money to cover the difference between the appraisal
and the sales price of what they were willing to offer on the property.
Right. So the main reason I think that sellers might choose other offers over FHA is because to most, FHA represents the lowest down payment a buyer can come up with. And so sellers might look at that as, the buyer with the lowest down payment is the least financially strong.
Yep.
So conventional buyers and cash buyers, conventional, they're given a larger down payment. Cash buyers are given it all in cash. So those are usually preferred. You can do a conventional loan with 5% down, even 3% sometimes. But if there's a way in communicating with the lender to switch that buyer from an FHA to conventional, I would consider doing that. If the buyer can be approved for both, I would probably go with the conventional pre-approval when you submit the offer. But besides that, what you talked about, what you touched on briefly, I would have the lender calling the listing agent and using very strong language like, this buyer is totally bulletproof. We've fully approved. We've underwritten everything. We promise you nothing will go wrong if you work with this buyer.
Yeah.
So besides that, you got to do what all the other buyers are competing to do. Also, you have to offer the best price, and you have to have your contingencies and fluff to an absolute minimum, if not totally removed.
So the listing we just got yesterday, that we were accepting today, we have now 6 offers because another one just came in. But the VA and FHA are the highest by $15,000, and the VA I don't want to touch because of the condition of the house. The FHA, the lender called me last night at like 8:00 on Sunday to show me the strength of the buyer, and talk about that. So that helped, and so they're all the way through desktop underwriting. They just need a property, and so that helps, showing that you are all the way through that process through DU.
Right. So you have to put the seller's fears at ease, and you have to put the listing agent's fears at ease. So for all the reasons that someone wouldn't choose an FHA buyer over the others, you have to take each of those fears and try to neutralize them in some way, whether it's your lender calling, or you showing, proof of funds, or showing that you have other options, or offsetting that by offering something much more. So if anyone else has questions for us to cover here on these episodes, we'd love for you to submit those to us. And you can message me on Facebook, message Todd on Facebook, comment in Agents Who Win. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to entertain those questions here live.
So Daniel, I've got a bonus post that I'm going to put in the chat. It generated 77 opportunities for me, or 77 comments on one of our community pages. And I got 4 listing appointments out of it, and found 1 off-market property, and found 2 FSBOs. They don't want to list, but if I have a buyer, I can connect with them. They're not on the market yet. And this is one that you want to put into a community group, not on your personal page, because you're going to get more targeted on there. So our Wekiva community has 3,000 members, so I'm hitting 3,000 people. Key, though, is if someone puts in, yes, I'm thinking about selling, here's my name and number, hide the comment. If a realtor puts their information in, hide their comment, because I had a couple put following, interesting. So I kind of not delete it, but I hide the post so they can't see notifications on it.
Right.
So take this and use it in your community pages, and I would love to hear some stories on how it went. But this is one that I just used and got some good traffic out of.
Yeah. What was the post? Say what
it should show in the comments, but it's basically, I'm a realtor. I have 5 families looking to buy at the moment. They cannot find anything. Is anyone looking to sell? Yes, this is a realtor, hard working with their clients, serious replies hoped for. And
yes,
I had a couple of people go in there and just make a comment about myself, which was great. I mean, they were good comments, thank God. So it was kind of adding to the strength of what I'm posting.
Right. I saw that. I'm in that group, and I saw when you posted that. So I saw all of the engagement that was happening, and I saw you got some compliments from people saying, wow, you're going outside of the box for your customers. Yeah. And had several people give, some additional questions, like what price range are they looking in? So that means that person's considering, right? They wouldn't be asking that if they weren't considering. So
you take them off of there, you take them to private message, and don't start the chat in there. And Daniel, Thank you for not commenting, because I probably would have hit your comment as well. But it did track some good stuff, and I got I did get some even our friends that were saying, yeah, so and so down the street's going to be selling their house. I'll get you connected. And then so it was good. I mean, it pushes it back out there. It helps keep you top of mind.
Yeah, awesome. That was an awesome bonus.
Yep, bonus. All right, folks, we'll see you Friday for our show. We're working on our guests. We'll get you an announcement out here soon. Appreciate
Have
everyone.
an amazing rest of the week.
Yes, you too. We'll see you later.
Take care.